right, guys, let me start with this. Start off a little deep for you. So, in a world that keeps trying to monetize your loneliness, your labor, your attention, protecting your peace is not soft. It's survival. Welcome back to Deespresso Thoughts, late night reflections for the bold, the tired, and the figuring it out. And tonight, honestly, I'm really sick of this shit, man. I'm really exhausted with trying to act like everything is normal. Because it's not. I'm tired of acting like it's normal for dating. It's starting to feel like a marketplace. I'm tired of acting like work feels like survival with better branding. I'm tired of acting like every single screen I touch is asking me for something. My time, my money, my attention, my energy. And at some point, I had to sit back, I had to ask, am I just overwhelmed? Or is the world really just that exhausting right now? And to me, it's extremely exhausting right now, man. So I wanted to touch on a subject. I think I touched a little bit on it last time, but I want to start us off with this tipping culture. Tipping culture has gotten extremely out of hand. You guys know it. You guys know it. The tip screen. Why am I being emotionally evaluated for buying a water or a coffee? It makes no freaking sense, man. And then they flip that stupid ass iPad and they're like, the literally the options is the most asinine options in the world. Is 20%, 25%, 30%, or custom. And it's like, custom what? Like, it's crazy. It's like they want you to finance their business or something. It's like, dude, like, get some customers, man. There's this bodega around the corner from my house, and dude, I'll go in, I'll get a soda, I'll get a snack, I'll get some chips, and then the tip prop will come up, and mind you, the lady who owns the shop is Chinese. I don't have any issue with Chinese people, I promise. But she's ringing my stuff up. She provided no service whatsoever. And every time I walk in, she looks at me like I'm trying to rob the place. And then she wants the nerve for me to tip. And the crazy thing is, my stupid ass, I'll still tip. Because I don't want to hear all of that black people never tip, yada, yada, this, yada, yada, that. And I also live by this acronym, GOAT, greatest of all tippers. And that's just how far I take it. So, although I am fed up with the tipping culture, I am a slave to it just like anyone else. And maybe not everybody else tips. Maybe you guys are got the balls enough to say no. It's something about it. I just don't have the balls enough to say no, man. Even if I'm in a restaurant and my order's wrong, if I don't have a woman there, man, if I don't have my girl, one of my homegirls, my friends, a lady there to be like, hey, this is wrong, he didn't order this, I'll just sit with it and eat it. That's how much of a bitch I am when it comes to this, like, really just putting my foot down in the service industry. And honestly, I've taken it so far. I remember this homeless man asked me, for, they'll ask you, hey, you got a couple dollars on you? And the dude, I gave him a couple dollars, and my silly ass, I gave him a tip on top of the money I gave him, because I'm just so fucking used to this tipping culture, man. It's just so crazy, dude. And I don't know, man. I just wanted to get on there and just talk about something funny really quick, because throughout this podcast, there's going to be some deep talks. And we're going to shift the tone pretty quickly here. So I just wanted to start off with a little laugh. Maybe you guys can relate. Maybe you guys cannot. Leave your funniest tipping stories in the comments if you have them. But it's not even about tipping. That's not really what it's about. It's about what it represents. Everything now in this world comes with pressure. and it's crazy. And if you look at dating, what are we doing? People don't date anymore. They evaluate. It always feels like resumes, interviews, options. Everybody's scanning. What's the next best thing? What's the next best thing? Um, and truthfully, I think that's why so many people feel lonely. Uh, because even when they have attention, because attention to me is not the same as depth. Um, and I think we get that wrong here in our dating culture. Uh, and right now, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm dating. I'm not dating right now, to be honest with you. I've been kind of focused on myself and my mission, um, the companies I'm building, everything, man. I really haven't had time to really pour myself or give my all into a relationship. So, it's not really something that I'm doing right now, but it's a lot of the things I talk about is things that I see, and things that I have experienced previously. So, um, I really just had to sit with that because I was beginning to think I used to think that love was enough, and it's really not. Because great relationships, uh, there's more aspects to great relationships than love. Um, uh, Relationships need these three things, in my opinion. They need intellectual connection, emotional connection, and finally physical or creative connection. And then there's the plus one. Um, you have to factor in things like circumstances, timing, life, because you can meet the right person at the wrong time, and still lose them. And that's something that happened has happened to me, in my dating in my previous dating experiences. I've met some of the most amazing women. Um, And I think that sometimes it was right person, wrong time. And that can really sit with you. I remember I went through just the most recent breakup, and it was really tough on me. And I got into this really depressed state, man, and I wasn't eating. Dude, I wasn't sleeping. Everything, every thought, everything that I did always led back to this particular lady. And everything made me think of her. It wasn't a corner I could turn where I was like, it didn't make me think of her. It wasn't a restaurant I can go to, food I can eat, um, or anything without her being in my mind. And it was a really tough breakup. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys just about that. And if you have any stories, post some of your dating experiences in the comments. I'll definitely love to hear them. Also, like I always mention, you can send anonymous stories, or you can be as non-anonymous as possible. You can send all your stories to hello@deespressonoir.com. And we'll share them on the podcast. So I'm looking forward to people sending out different stories. I always will ask for prompts from my listeners, just to kind of get you guys involved, and I'll also tell you guys stories from my perspective and from my view. And as I'm reading them, and add a little bit of my commentary on it. So, yeah, that's what I got to say about that, guys. But you know what? I think the problem with relationships as well nowadays in our culture is that I think the problem is we're all trying to look perfect. We spend too much energy maintaining an image, but there's no connection in a polished facade. Uh, None. Perfection doesn't bring people closer. ultimately isolates you, because nobody connects to perfection. People connect to humanity, to the messy parts, to the real parts. And I always say to be beautiful is to be human. And the only true perfection is your true colors. So I always try to harp on that. And I'm guilty of it myself. I always used to try to put out a perfect facade. Um, and it took me a long time to get over and be comfortable with myself. And I used to try to be perfect, and I found out that I was only hurting myself because it's something that's just not attainable. No one's perfect. Uh, I think I tried to use that mask because I made mistakes in my past life that would prompt people to judge me. So I felt the need to always accomplish this perfection. Um, and now, to be honest with you guys, like, I don't really give a shit. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm at a point in my life now where I'm not just going to try to continue to show people my worth and mask, put on this perfect mask. Because all it was doing was really hurting me because I'm trying to be something that I'm not. And like I mentioned earlier, people don't relate to perfection. They relate to humanity. I remember getting court-martialed and kicked out of the military, and I thought I'd never recover. And it was the only thing that ran through my mind 24/7. 24/7. What can I do to put a backseat to my mistakes? And the truth is, the only thing you can do is learn from those mistakes and really continue on your journey and your path. My only goal in life right now is peace. And my only perfection is my imperfections. Because those imperfections make D who D is, and those imperfections you have make you who you are. And I can finally say this confidently. I absolutely love myself and the man that I look in the mirror every day. And I'm proud of myself every day. I tell myself I'm proud of myself every day. And it's just a joyous feeling, guys. And you really don't realize how much putting on these different masks really affects you. And I think that's what social media is now, is masks. So when I'm on social media nowadays, even with this podcast, I try to be as authentic as possible. Like I always say, man, I love to smile. If you go to every single video, every single picture, I'm always smiling. And that's because that's just me. And like, I love life. I just love uplifting people. And this is part of the reason why I do this podcast. If I can help one, I'll help one. If I can help hundreds, I can help hundreds. But I just want to share my story. And every day I wake up, I tell myself the following: the challenges we face today are the forge in which makes us stronger. These hard times are not here to break us, but to build us. And and it takes resilience, courage, an unyielding amount of discipline to really just look at it this way and be who you want to be. It's in the struggle that we find our strength. And it's in the strength that will lead us to better days. Let's embrace the grind, knowing that our perseverance now will shape a brighter future for ourselves and those who come after us. So I always tell myself, stay strong, stay committed, and never lose sight of the purpose that drives you forward. And there's a great famous saying, and I don't know who say it, but they say hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And that's something that I've been living by pretty much my entire life. And it's a quote that always has stood out to me, and always really sat with me deep down in my heart. And that's where real relationships are built. It's not built in perfection, but really it's built in truth. It's built in who you really are. So um, I said all that to say, really, just to share my experiences so you guys maybe can take a piece of my experience and try to learn from it. Um, Once I do start getting into dating again and really wanting to try to find a relationship, I'm not going to put on that perfection mask. I'm going to be unauthentic. I'm going to be authentically me. Why did I say unauthentically? That's crazy. Um, but yeah, uh, real relationships are built not in perfection, but in truth. And here's the thing, guys. What makes you different is not your weakness, it's your leverage. The parts of you that don't quite fit are the parts that separate you. And when you try to smooth them out, you dilute your power. So, really, my message in this podcast is not just sharing my experiences, but also letting people know that it's okay to be authentically you. Like, be authentically you. So I want to jump into a very particular topic here. I want to talk about men. And I want to talk about this part because this part is extremely real. Um, a man carries more than he'll ever let you see. And most of the time, he doesn't even know what to say or how to say it. So he just holds on to it. He holds on to the stress, the pressure, the fear. So, ladies, give your man a little grace. And, if you're dating right now, if you're seeing a man and, you guys are going through a rough patch, or maybe he isn't as communicative as you like him to be, check in with him, ask him, what's wrong? What can I do for you? How can I make your plate a little easier? Because men, we will never, ever, ever really tell someone what's going on without being asked. And even when we're asked, it may take 1, 2, or even 3 times. I never really been an open or talkative person, and this podcast has truly challenged me to be an open book, and to create a space for people who may be struggling with being comfortable with themselves and who they really are. Every tribulation I've faced, I tried to go at it alone. While all along I had people who wanted or could help me. And I always used to think asking for help was a sign of weakness, but it's honestly quite the opposite. Asking for help shows great strength and fortitude. And why have people and family in your life, and at any signs of trouble, you act like no one exists? And I think that not only hurts you, but it hurts them, because they wonder, well, why didn't D reach out? Why didn't this person reach out and ask for a helping hand? And I'm not more or less stronger if I ask for help versus if I didn't ask for help. And I like to always share this, that my mother, she's that for me. She's my best friend. My brother RJ, he's my best friend. He's been that for me. And while my army of people that I have is quite small, I'd much rather go to the end of earth with 2 than with 10. And yeah, those are the people that really hold a lot of weight in my heart. And those are the people who I can truly call on and say, hey, I need help. Can you help me with this? So, yeah. So if you have that person, I want you to think about those people, make a list, write it down, and reach out to them. Send them a quick message and say, you know what, I appreciate you. And I want you to say, hey, if I'm ever in any situation, you'll be the first person I call. And I guarantee you that their response will just be, you'll be speechless, because people want to hear that. They want to know that you're comfortable enough to ask for help. And they want to know that if they were in that same situation, that they're comfortable enough to ask for help. And I noticed that if no one ever asks for help, then you don't make a space for each other to ask for help. So then it's just two supposedly friends or family really just going through the motions. And is that truly even a friendship? And really, guys, the tension is real, because men want two things at the same time. They want to be pushed to be more, but they still want to feel like they're enough right now. And those two things, they don't always align. And I think that a lot of times we're extremely hard, especially on men, to suck it up, be okay, and just keep going. And sometimes it's okay to not be okay, especially as a man. And that's another reason why I made this podcast, because I want to share my experiences with men and tell them that, hey, you don't have to, being vulnerable is a sign of masculinity. It's not masculine if you're vulnerable. So if you're a guy out there, if you're a man out there and you're listening, be vulnerable. Open up more. Reach out to your lady, reach out to your mother, reach out to that person in your life who you can count on, who you can trust. Talk about some problems. Talk about something small. Start with something small. Get used to that feeling of just opening up. And it's something that I'm still working on, but I think that with practice, I'm getting better every day, because I can't handle heavy things alone by myself, because when I do, I isolate, and isolation is the worst thing a human can do in any situation, no matter if you're a man or a female. Transitioning a little bit here, getting in the subject of work, because everybody says there's opportunity everywhere, but no one talks about how heavy that feels. There was a point where I genuinely questioned if any of this was working. As you guys know, I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm not talking about one bad day. I'm talking about a stretch of time where I felt like I'm building something, but is it landing? I'm posting, but nobody's seeing it. I'm not getting any interactions. I'm working, but nothing's compounding. I'm not seeing any return. And that's the weird place to be in as an entrepreneur, because on the outside, it looks like motion, but internally it feels like doubt. I remember nights where I'm working on a tech side of my business, doing my consulting work, trying to structure things the right way. And then I'd step back and think, am I actually building something, or am I just staying busy? And the hardest part is that there's no scoreboard. Nobody's clapping. Nobody's validating, and nobody's telling me, hey, you're on the right path. And it's just you and your belief. So that's something that I deal with every day, is really the validation piece. And not that you should do anything for validation, but the validation is an indicator, or even just a motivational piece to keep going. Um, and I always tell people, if you truly believe in something, you'll keep pursuing it. And that's been my entrepreneurial journey. Not having constant validation or validation at all. Things not working as I thought they would, but continuing to really hammer the nail and just keep going. And I had to realize something. I wasn't lacking progress, I was lacking proof. And those are two completely different things. Because progress happens quietly and proof that comes later. And it goes to what I was saying, keep hammering that nail, because progress is often not seen initially, but it will turn into proof, which is seen after the fact. So if you're an entrepreneur, or even if you got a day job, you work for a company, keep going, because that'll open up opportunities for you that uh, you may never thought possible. And a lot of people usually quit within that gap, that progress and proof gap, that space between doing the work and seeing the results. And here's the thing, this is when it clicked for me. Entrepreneurship isn't hard because of the work, it's hard because of the silence. And I have to I have to tell myself that every day. Entrepreneurship isn't hard because of the work. Because of the work I'm doing isn't hard. I enjoy doing it. I love this shit. I love the podcast. I love the tech business that I have. I love everything. I love everything. I love the hard work. But it's just the silence. Is people seeing it? Why aren't they react? Why aren't I getting any praise? Why aren't I getting any, hey, keep going? Hey D, I like this. And the silence is the hardest thing. Um, the silence is where nobody sees it yet. Nobody believes it yet. Sometimes you don't even truly believe it. But it's best to stay on the course. And I stay on the course not because I'm 100% confident, but because I'm more scared of quitting, and finding out later that I was closer than I thought. I hear this saying, I hear this this audio playing in my head. It goes work, 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 work. No results, but I'm a little bit better. Work, 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 work. No results, but I'm a little bit better. Work, work, work. No results. Work, work, work. And then boom, just got paid. And sometimes you're just that close. And a lot of people quit just inches away from the finish line. I'll tell you this, guys. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they can't survive the phase where nothing is happening, but everything is building. And I made a decision. I'm not leaving during the part of the story that doesn't make sense yet. And I keep preaching this, guys. I keep preaching this. I said this on the last podcast. This podcast is a risk. Posting and getting 20 views is a risk. Building something from nothing is a risk. But as you guys know, what scares me most is regret. So, guys, you're not waiting to be ready. You're waiting to feel safe. And growth doesn't happen in safety. Failure is only expensive when it stops you. So keep going. Because if you keep moving, you become impossible to beat. There's this really great philosopher named, what is his name? I think it's Frederick Niche or something like that, and uh, he said, I know of no better life purpose than to perish attempting the great and impossible. The fact that something seems impossible should not be a reason to not pursue it. That's exactly what makes it worth pursuing. Where would the courage and greatness be if success was certain and there was no risk? The only true failure is shrinking away from life's challenges. And I want to shift gears here and get a really vulnerable with you guys. Um, and I want to do something different. I want to read you guys a little journal prompt that I responded to back in 2025. And maybe you guys will take this journal prompt and kind of write it down and answer it and kind of manifest everything you want in life. And the prompt went like this: write about the version of yourself. Write about the version of you who's trying to emerge, the one who exists beneath your doubts, fears, and the noise of the world. Start with this: if every moment of self-doubt I've ever felt were a doorway instead of a wall, what version of me would be waiting on the other side? Then I want you to explore these 5 questions. What are the fears or beliefs that have been shaping my life without my permission? When have I surprised myself with resilience, even moments I didn't think I was strong? What parts of me am I learning to let go of, and what parts of me am I finally ready to claim? If my life was quietly guiding me somewhere, what direction does it seem to be pointing me towards right now? And finally, who is the future me I can actually feel in my chest, the one I'm scared to admit I want to become? And I want you guys to finish by writing, tonight I choose to believe that I'm becoming someone worth growing into, even if the journey feels heavy. And I want you to describe what that belief looks like, emotionally, mentally, and in the choices you want to make tomorrow. And I want to answer this prompt very slowly just to really get that authenticity. And I wrote this and I read it every so often. And every time I read it, it really put a fire in my chest. But it also makes me feel extremely emotional because I wrote it in a time where I felt low and I didn't want to be on this earth. I've had thoughts of not being here anymore. So I wanted to share it with you guys. So, like I mentioned, write about the version of you who is trying to emerge. Here's what I said. Honestly, I think it'd be the version of me that isn't afraid of being too much or not enough. The version of me that doesn't walk around questioning whether I'm behind in life or if I missed some turn everyone else magically knew to take. The version of me who stops apologizing for taking up space, for wanting more, for needing things, for not being the unshakable one 24/7. It'd be the version of me who finally breathes. And then I go on to answer these 5 questions. First one, what fears or beliefs have been shaping my life without my permission? That if I slow down, I'll fall apart. That wanting support makes me weak. That I've got to figure everything out on my own because somehow needing people disqualifies me from being strong. That if I don't keep reinventing myself, I'm not valuable. That my worth is tied to my progress, productivity, or how well I keep everyone else afloat. And maybe the biggest one, good things aren't fully mine to keep. And then I go on to question 2. When have I surprised myself with resilience? Honestly, more times than I ever given myself credit for. I've gotten up after nights that should have kept me down. I've made decisions when I was completely drained, but somehow found clarity anyway. I've rebuilt myself in silence multiple times when no one even knew I was breaking. I've kept going even when a part of me was convinced I had nothing left. I surprise myself because even in the moments I swear I'm done, I'm still here, still trying, still choosing to believe there's more for me, even when it hurts. And then I go on to the next one. What parts of me am I learning to let go of? And what parts of me am I ready to claim? I'm letting go of the version of me who shrinks so others don't feel insecure. The exhaustion disguises independence, the fear of disappointing people, the habit of questioning every damn thing I feel. I'm claiming my intuition because it's been right more than it's been wrong. My softness because it isn't a liability. My ambition because I actually want big things, even if I pretend I don't. My right to rest without guilt. My right to be supported, chosen, and poured into. And then when we go on to the next prompt, if my life is quietly guiding me somewhere, what does it seem to be pointing? It's pointing me towards a version of myself that's steadier, calmer, and more intentional. Towards building something real, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. Towards deeper connection instead of draining ones. Towards choosing the things that feel aligned, not the things that look impressive. It feels like I'm being guided towards ownership of my time, my voice, my future, and my identity. Who is the future me I can actually feel in my chest? The one I'm scared to admit I want to become. Someone confident in their own skin. Someone unbothered by being misunderstood. Someone successful in a way that feels natural, not forced. Someone healed enough to love without flinching. Someone with boundaries, and I mean real ones. Someone who's not afraid to say, I deserve this. And maybe someone who's finally at peace. And for the end of that prompt, tonight I choose to believe that I'm becoming someone worth growing into, even if the journey feels heavy. And what does that belief looks like? Emotionally, a quiet kind of trust, not loud confidence, just a gentle knowing that I'm not failing, I'm unfolding. Mentally, giving myself permission to not have every answer, allowing my mind to rest instead of constantly preparing for the worst. And in tomorrow's choices, show up with intention instead of rushing, give myself the same grace I give everyone else, make one choice that supports the future me, not the scared me, and maybe actually let myself hope. Because I am becoming someone worth growing into, even if tonight I'm still figuring out how to believe that. And I wanted to share that with you guys. So if you guys wanted to do that journal prompt, I'll add it in my description. Maybe you guys want to read along. Maybe you guys want to send me your thoughts. Send me your journal prompts if you want to share. This is a safe space. But the crazy part is about that, it gives me goosebumps. I got goosebumps right now. I'm living it right now. Everything I said I wanted, I'm doing in real time. So, guys, after all of this, dating, work, pressure, expectations, who in your life makes you feel like a person? And who makes you feel like a product? I'm going to leave you guys with this. You still have a choice. You can choose depth over attention, truth over performance, peace over pressure. In a world that wants something from you, always choose yourself. And guys, this has been Deespresso Thoughts, late night reflections for the bold, the tired, and the figuring it out. And if nobody told you today, you matter outside of what you produce. And guys, stay tuned next Thursday. The next episode, we go deeper because this episode was just about the world, and the next one will be about you. Thank you.